Hi Stampers, it's Madeline from stampwithmadeline.com, the Wonderland Stamper. I had a whole video planned out for you with lots of lavender Sale-a-bration set, but then I got the gorgeous swap cards in the mail from all of demonstrators all over the country. So if you want to check that out, there was over 100 cards that were in that occasions and celebration swap. That's in my video previous to this, just one over, so make sure to check that out. But anyway, there were so many gorgeous cards using this Petal palette. I could not wait to share with you some projects with this. So I'm going to show you two projects today that I took from that swap. And then during the week, so every single day over on my website, www.stampwithmadeline.com, you'll get to see a new project every single day using this set. So this is a monster set. This is not a set that you want to miss out on. This has tons of sentiments. You can use it for years to come. And that's always what I look for, are the sets that are so versatile that you don't need to buy tons and tons of different sets. You can have one that's like your go-to set. And this is definitely one of those sets. There are also gorgeous framelits that we're going to get to play with today, and you'll get to see those in action. Just a really beautiful set. Along with that, in the suite of products, it has some gorgeous designer series paper. So I'm just going to flip through this with you really quick. This is perfect paper to use with your blends. So I have been loving the blends, and if you have too, please leave a comment below and let me know. This is perfect for coloring in. Look at this. Easy peasy. You can make gorgeous cards using these and the blends. I just love the black and white style, but I also love how much you could add to this. Look at that gorgeousness. I love it. So there were lots of different cards that people use Petal Palette for in my swap. And again, you should go over and check those out for sure. You don't want to miss those. And I took two of them that I'm actually going to use in a program that I'm doing over at my local coffee shop tomorrow. I'm doing, or actually today, Cup of Cards. We make two cards together and they can have a cup of coffee, and I'm really excited about it. It's my first one ever there, away from my craft room. And so I'm going to be doing these same cards there. So you're getting a sneak peek at what I will be doing at my local event. And if you are local to the central New York area, please let me know and I will share the events with you. You can like my Facebook page, which has the link down below, and that's where all my events are posted. Okay, so these are the two cards that we're going to be making. This one was made by one of my downline, and I love it. I love the simplicity of it and how gorgeous it is. It's really eye-catching, I think. The bird is a little popped up with a dimensional, and I'm obsessed with it. This is another one that was made by Jennifer Kubu, and I love it. I love all the little details in the back, and I love that it's simple, but it is so elegant. So I'm really excited to make these both with you. I am going to make some slight changes. So this is going to have a different sentiment on it because I don't have the Butterfly Basics set. And I want to stay true to this Petal Palette set. I want to use everything from this set. So that's the only thing I'll be changing. And I'll also be adding some paper and sentiments on the inside of these cards as well. So you'll get to make that along with me. Okay, so first things first, let's get everything out of our way here. We're going to do this card first, and I'm going to take it out of the plastic so that you can see it without the glare on it. It also has a cute little basic pearl on it. I love it. Okay. Oh, I forgot to share one more thing with you. Okay, so this is also another embossing folder set of two that come in it's available in the Petal Palette suite. And I love this because you can easily add some beautiful patterns to your cards that you're using with this suite or with a different suite. It doesn't matter. Isn't it gorgeous? So that's another thing in the suite that I was obsessed with and had to get. Okay, another thing we're going to be using, so I'll just go over supplies. We're going to be using the Stitched Shapes framelits. Hard to say. This is the second to largest oval that I'm going to be using. We're going to need Cherry Cobbler ink, Garden Green ink. You'll need a card base that is 5.5 by 8.5 that we're going to fold in half. It's a Whisper white piece of cardstock. You're going to need a piece of Cherry Cobbler that is 4.25 by 5.5. This card was made, I don't think I mentioned that. This card was made by my downline, Marley Fiacco. She's over on Adventures with Marley. She has a YouTube channel and her cards rock. So that is a really cute card that I'm obsessed with. Okay, so Cherry Cobbler, 4¼ by 5½. And then a piece of Whisper White that is going to be 4 by 5¼ And then I did change it up a little bit where I'm going to put a piece of crumb cake on the inside, and this is 4 by 5¼ just so that I could add some different color inside. Okay, so that is what we will need for this. We're going to use 3 different stamps from the Petal Palette set, and also you'll need your little pearls out, or you could do a rhinestone here as well. It's totally up to you. Okay, so these are all red rubber stamps, so you don't need your piercing mat. So I'm just going to take out what I need. And I've also been getting a few questions about these red rubber stamps and how to get them to really stay to your block the way that you want them to. Here's my advice, and everyone is different, so it's totally up to you whether you want to do it this way or not, but I'm going to show you what I do. I take my tape gun and I put just a little bit of adhesive, just like a strip down the center. The smaller the stamp, the smaller amount of adhesive that I'm using, and I put it right in the center. So here's the thing. If you put too much of this adhesive, it's going to rip off this plastic, and you don't want that. Some people don't put this sticker on. They just leave it that cream color in the back, and that sticks to the block really nicely. This has a static cling to the block, but it's just not firm enough for me, and it falls off and I get all frustrated. So that's why I add this little strip of adhesive. You do have to be careful though. When you're taking the block off, even if you only have a little bit of adhesive, it does tend to rip off this plastic if you're not careful. So just don't do it in a haste and you'll be fine. Some people use, I'm blanking on the name right now, but it's like re-tacky adhesive, so it's reusable adhesive. They put some of that on the back, or even cheap double stick tape, so that it's not that permanent stick tape. It's non-permanent stick double-sided tape, so that has less of a grip on your block. It's totally up to you, but I definitely always put a little bit of adhesive on here. It does leave a little bit of a residue on your block, so you can always clean that off with some Goo Gone. But for me, I would rather do the extra cleanup later than be frustrated if my stamp falls off my block. And I'm all about doing things quickly. So I'm sure I could get them to stick without the adhesive, but like I love that I can just put it and it's done. Just like the photopolymer. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take out that Whisper White piece that is smaller, and we're going to stamp our leaves on. And I forgot to mention, you will need a scrap of Whisper White so that we can do the bird and cut it out. So we're going to, oh, I'm taking out all the wrong inks. We're going to take our garden green and we're going to stamp this leaf block that our bird is on. So just get it nice and inked, and there's always 2 sides of this paper. So if we don't do it exactly the way we want it, we can always flip it over and try again. So I'm going to put it where I want it. There we go. Perfect. I love that. So now just take a scrap of Whisper White. I just have a bunch of daisy here, so don't worry about those. And get your little bird out, and you're going to use Cherry Cobbler now for this one. Get your little birdie inked. And you can do a couple and see which one you like better. But again, I'm doing it on this scrap piece of paper. Oh my gosh, he is so cute. Okay, so now you are going to fussy cut him out. And I have talked in my previous videos about the brother scan and cut. You can, if I was doing a bunch of these, I would do that. But for this video, I'm just going to fussy cut him out because it's easier. But again, if I was doing like 15 of these even, or even 5, I would get that brother scan and cut going. And that is turning into one of my favorite tools right now. It is amazing. And you can see that in action in my previous videos. One of the Stampin' Sundays that I did very recently, I showed you how I was using that. The Heartfelt Blooms video. It's amazing. I got it for the holidays, and I waited a year to get it. My upline got it like the day after I found out about it, and I've been waiting all this time to get it, and it was definitely worth it. So I definitely recommend it. It's the best thing that that it helps me with is the stamp sets that don't have framelits. So like the Heartfelt Blooms or something like this bird that I'm sure there's a framelit for. I'm just hand cutting it out instead. When you're doing multiples of them, it's even easier just to print it out or get it cut out by the printer. There is our cute little birdie. Okay, so now we're going to get that scrap out of here. You're just going to take some Stampin' Dimensionals and put him in the place that you want. So let me get my dimensionals out here. I am going to use the minis just so that he's a pretty small dude. They don't want to come off my finger. Okay, there we go. Take off the little papers here and then place him where you want. So I'm going to put him exactly where he is on the example. There we go. He's all popped up there. We're going to keep this cherry cobbler out, and now we are going to do the sentiment. So life is so much better with you in it. I think that is so cute. Just get it nice and inked. Put it where we want it. There we go. A really simple card that I just love because it's so cute. When it's all put together, it is gorgeous. Okay, so now I'm going to take my Jules Basic Pearl, and I'm just going to take one of these little pearls, these tiny pearls, and put it on this card. So I have this clay tool that I like to use because it has a really nice long handle on it, so it's easy for me to use. And we're going to place it right down here so it's like a little flower. Beautiful. And then now we're just going to put this card together. So I'm going to close up my ink so I don't make a mess, because that's me. I'm usually making a mess. And we're going to put this card together. So using whatever adhesive that you're using, we're going to place this Whisper White piece onto the cherry cobbler. So just center it on here. Just like that. And then we're going to take the Whisper White piece that we had for the card base, fold it in half, just crease it really nicely. You can use a bone folder if you'd like. And we're going to put adhesive on the back of our cherry cobbler, and then we're going to attach it to the front of our card here. There we go. Make sure it's nice and stuck down, and we're going to open it up, and I'm going to place this crumb cake piece inside. So just put adhesive, get adhesive on it, and we're just going to center it in here so it has that white border. There we go. I love that. And then now you can write a note on this or put a sentiment in it if you'd like. I'm going to leave it blank for right now, but I just wanted to add a little something on the inside as well, and I think it matched well with the little bird. Like, it reminded me of a bird's nest color. So that's the first card. I love it. Again, made by my downline. And now we're going to do the second card. So let me take it out of the clear. This again was made by Jennifer Kubu. She is a demonstrator, and she partook in my swap. So I said on my swap video, I just want to reiterate it again, if you're a demonstrator and you're interested in partaking in my catalog swap, so every time there's a new catalog that releases, I do organize a mail swap. So you mail all the cards to me, and I sort them and get them back out to you. And I can give you more information if you're interested. If you're not a demonstrator and this sounds like something fun that you want to try out, you can try out by being a demonstrator. So you can sign up under me and become a demonstrator. And it's 6 months that you get to get all the perks. So right now is the best time to sign up to be a demonstrator because you get $125 worth of free worth of product, and you pay $99. So you get $26 worth of free product. But in addition to that, during Sale-a-bration from January to March, you get 2 free stamp sets of your choice on top of that. So it's a great deal, and it's only here during Sale-a-bration, so you don't want to miss that. And I have more information about that. You can join my team over on my website. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And it's no strings attached. So if you use it for 6 months, you get all the benefits. You come to conference with us. We're going to Connecticut in April. You do the swap, you get the 20% discount. You can get up to 25% off. You get your kit, and in 6 months you say, this really isn't for me. Then you can just be out of it. There is no strings attached. It is a great way just to try out the perks and see if you like it. So let me know if that's something that you're interested in. Okay, so for this card, you are going to need some Wild Wasabi cardstock. So you're going to need one that's 2.5 by 4 for our stitch shape cutout. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 4 by 5.25. And you're going to need a piece of Early Espresso that is our card base. So that's going to be 4.25 by, 5.5 by 8.5 is this Early Espresso sheet. You're also going to need a scrap of basic black, so you can just have that anywhere. And that is what I'm using for the flower up here. Okay, so what we are going to do first is just fold our card base and get it out of the way. So let's take this Early Espresso and just fold it in half. And again, you can use a bone folder if you'd want, or whatever you would like for this. Just make sure it's nice and creased. Then we're going to get to work with our Big Shot. So you'll want to get your Big Shot out. And I have mine right here. Just going to get it onto the table here. Okay, so hope you can still, let's get this more in the picture so you can see. There's 3 things that we're going to be doing with the Big Shot. We're going to cut out this gorgeous leaf framelit from the Wild Wasabi. We're going to do the stitch shapes on the small piece of Wild Wasabi, and we're going to do this flower in basic black. So first, I'm going to take one of the pieces of Wild Wasabi, and I'm going to run it through this with the leaf. So we're going to place it in the center here. And you can decide where you want your leaf. You can follow exactly where I put it or wherever you would like. So I'm going to put it all the way to the side here. I'm going to follow the card and just put it right against here so that there's room for the stamping and the sentiment. I'm going to cover this up and run it through. Sorry for the shaking. This machine is very powerful. I love this machine. I use it so much. As you can tell, the plates are really... You are very happily used. Okay, so just carefully take that off, and there you go. There is your leaf. So just be careful. It is very fragile, and you can take out all these little dots, which we'll do after. So now that's what you should have for this step. Okay, and then next you're going to take that small piece of Wild Wasabi, and we're going to do our stitch shape on this. So just center that, put it in between and sandwich it, and just run this through. Okay, there is our stitch shape. I love these framelits. I use them almost on every card. Okay, and then lastly, we are going to do the scrap of basic black. So whatever size you have that'll fit the flower. Mine's huge, but anything that works with you, that you have laying around. I save all of my scraps because I always end up using them. I'm just going to put this flower anywhere on here. Oops. And run it through. I actually have a binder, like a scrapbook binder, with all the clear views, that every page is labeled with the color of paper, and I have all the scraps in there. So I go to that first before I take a new sheet of paper, and that has helped me so much. Okay, so if it's really in there and you're not able to get it out, you can use, we have the brush, Big Shot brush tool that you can use, or just use your poker, which is what I do. Okay, so now we're done with that, and you'll want to use this again when you're cleaning up from this project just to get rid of all these small pieces that get stuck in there, because that'll affect your cuts on future projects. So you want to make sure that's clean before you put it back into storage, would be my recommendation. Okay, so now we're done with the Big Shot, and now it is time to stamp Let's take out our flower here. It's time to stamp and get the rest of this project put together. Okay, so now we're going to take the wild wasabi paper that we cut out the leaves on, and we're going to do this background stamping here. So I'm going to take out the small set of leaves that have flowers with a stem on it. So there's two different stamps, but we're going to use this one. And I'm going to, again, put a tiny bit of adhesive just right in the center and put it on a block. And I'm going to use wild wasabi ink. Take this out. Wild wasabi. We want it to be the same color as our paper because this is just very, very light here in the back. You could even off stamp and do this, you know, like stamp it off on the side and then come back. And I'm just like even lightly, you don't even have to really press very hard. I'm just going around. It's okay if you miss it. I want it to look very like artistic. Okay. Now we are going to take our circle here with the stitch shapes, and she used a different sentiment from Butterfly Basics, so feel free to use that. I don't have that, so I'm going to use one from our set, and I want to figure out which one works the best. So this says some things are just meant to be like the two of you together. Let's see. Or we can do from the heart or best wishes. I think I'm going to do best wishes. Let's do that one for now. But as you can see, again, a very versatile set because you could do lots of different cards with this. So this, I'm actually going to use Memento black ink because that'll match with our flower. Put a little bit of adhesive on here. And we're going to put it on a block and just get it nice and inked up on this Memento black ink. Stamp it in the center. There we go. And you could add some rhinestones to this. I think I might actually add some pearls underneath it. We have them out, so we might as well use them, right? This is a poker tool, the paper piercing tool. This is another one that you could use instead of that longer tool that I was using. Sorry, I just hit the camera. Just going to line up a few down here just to give it a little accent. And I'd love if you make this card, I want to see the differences that you do. I'm just moving those to exactly where I want them. Okay. So now we're going to start putting this together because now we have everything on here. So I'm going to put dimensionals behind this card or behind the sentiment just to make it pop up a little bit. And I'm going to use minis just because I like having more control about where it's popping up from. Okay, and then I'm going to take the papers off of these and just put it down on my card. And then we're going to attach the flower. So the flower, you could use glue dots. You can use like the fine tip glue pen. It's up to you, but you do need something that is intricate because that flower won't go down with just normal adhesive. Like, I mean like double stick tape adhesive. Okay, so now we're going to put that flower on, and I'm going to use glue dots. And I'm just going to use one. So this is, again, something where you use the poker tool, because this sticks to your finger and does not want to get up, believe me. I'm going to put it on the leaf, because that's where you won't really see it. There we go. I'm just using one, so you don't need a lot. Just one is good. I'm going to take my leaf that we cut out, and I'm going to, I keep putting it away, but let's get the poker tool out and just poke the little leaves that didn't come out exactly right yet from the big shot. And this, again, I'm going to use the glue dots. Just make sure you get the scraps away. so that they don't get on your card and close up your ink. That's my worst thing, is I always mess up with the ink. Okay, I'm going to put this on the leaves that don't have the holes in it. And I'm just going to put like 3 or 4 on here, these glue dots, just so it gets nicely attached. And you can always fold these glue dots in half so that they look the way that you want them to. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it almost exactly on the cut lines. I'll place it and then show you. Because we just want a little bit of an overlap. So just make sure all your glue dots are stuck. So it's just, I'm going exactly where the cut, I just want that little overlap. And some of these glue dots you can move to make them not be as shown. Okay, now we're going to attach this to our early espresso, and you'll see how that overlap worked nicely. So just get your adhesive out and put down some adhesive on here. And you don't want to put it through the holes, so just put it in places where it won't go through. Center it on here before you place down, and then just push down. So now you can go in and kind of edit these glue dots that are showing out and make sure that they're all hidden with the pierce tool. It's another, I like this tool for that. So it's up to you. As you can tell, she had it more exactly on. I might try to, I think it's too late. It's going to rip. That's okay. She has it more exactly where it's just a little bit further, so it just gives it that. But this is a different way to do it. I have a little bit more of an overlap than she does, and I like either way. She added some baker's twine on here, so let's add some of that. I have the same color here. So we're just going to, I'm just going to make a bow and put it on. All the supplies for this video will be over on my website. You can click down below, stampinwithmadelyn.com. I'll have all the supplies set up so that you can just click on them and it'll bring you right over to my shop. Okay, and I'm going to attach this down here. And again, just with a glue dot. Put it on the back of the bow. Put the bow where you'd like it. There we go. Okay, and there is our second card. So there is lots of different ways to make each card that you look at. I love doing a card at an event because everyone makes it a little bit different. And that's the fun part, because you can see all the different creativity that everyone has. So if you like this set and you want it, you can go over to my website and click on the supply link and you'll be directed right over to my shop. Again, it is Petal Palette, and you can see this other beautiful card that we made. I hope you liked these cards, and if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel. And for now, keep stamping, Stampers. Bye.